The message came on a Tuesday morning. At first, the scientists at the radio telescope in New Mexico thought it was a glitch. Then the same signal appeared at observatories in China, South Africa, and Australia. It was real. It was alien, and it was meant for Earth. Dr. Alan Martinez was eating breakfast when the call came. His phone rang with a tone he had never heard before. The president was calling. 20 minutes later, the black car pulled up to his house. 4 hours after that, he was in a secure room under the White House with 50 of the world's top minds. "The message contains instructions for building a translation device," said Karen Lewis, the lead linguist. Her fingers shook as she pointed to symbols on the screen. "They want to talk to us." Alan looked at the strange patterns. After 30 years as a diplomat, he thought he had seen everything. He was wrong. "How long to build this device?" asked President Olivia Spencer. Her face was calm, but her eyes showed worry. 3 days if we work around the clock," said Frank Miller, the engineer. They built it in 2. When they turned it on, a voice filled the room. It was not human. It sounded like water and bells, and something else no one could name. "People of Earth," the voice said, "I am Ambassador Kralfax of the Vesperi, speaking on behalf of the Galactic Council. We have been watching your world. It is time for formal contact. We request a meeting on your moon in 7 days." The room went silent. Then everyone started talking at once. President Spencer raised her hand. "How many species are in this council?" "The Galactic Council unites 327 spacefaring civilizations," Kralfax replied. "Earth will be the 328th, should you accept our invitation." For the next 5 days, the United Nations held emergency meetings. Countries argued. Some wanted to welcome the aliens. Others feared a trap. In the end, they formed a response team. Dr. Alan Martinez would lead it, with Captain Lisa Wright of the Space Force as second in command. Lisa did not trust the aliens. "Why now?" she asked Alan as they reviewed the files. "Why contact us when we're just starting to explore space?" Alan had the same question. On the 6th day, the secret became impossible to keep. Military satellites detected massive ships entering the solar system. They stopped beyond Mars, just sitting there. When asked about them, Ambassador Kralfax said, "Standard diplomatic escort. Nothing to concern yourselves with." Lisa snorted. "That's like saying a tiger in your kitchen is just a house cat." News of the alien contact spread across Earth. Some people celebrated in the streets. Others stockpiled food and water. Religious leaders called for calm. Scientists worked day and night to learn more about the Council. On the 7th day, Alan, Lisa, and a team of 12 experts went to the moon. A special facility had been built there in record time. It had rooms for humans and spaces that could hold different atmospheres for the aliens. The Council ship that landed was beautiful and strange. It looked like a silver leaf, thin but massive. 12 aliens emerged, each one different from the others. Some had too many limbs, some had none. One looked like floating crystals, another like a walking tree. The leader stepped forward. This was not Kralfax, but another alien called Zixalan. It had no solid shape, just swirling colors inside a clear bubble. The translation device turned these colors into words. "We welcome Earth to the galactic community," Zixalan said. "We bring the standard assimilation agreement for your review." A human assistant staggered under the weight of a data drive handed to him. "This contains the terms for Earth to join the Council as a protectorate species," Zixalan continued. "You have 3 of your days to review before formal negotiations begin." Alan took the drive, feeling its weight in more ways than one. He looked at Lisa, who raised an eyebrow. Both had the same thought. Whatever was on this drive would change Earth forever. The first contact with alien life had officially begun. Humanity stood at the edge of a new age. No one knew if it would be good or bad. Back at the lunar base, the human team gathered around a large table. The data drive from the aliens held a document that was 10,000 pages long. Everyone looked tired but determined as they divided the work. 3 days is not enough time to read all this, said Dr. Susan Bell, the international law expert. She rubbed her eyes after 6 hours of reading. Alan nodded. That's probably on purpose. They don't want us to find all the fine print. The document was called the Standard Assimilation Agreement. The more they read, the more worried they became. It talked about Earth joining the Galactic Council, but not as an equal member. Look at this section. Lisa pointed to her screen. It says we have to stop all space exploration outside our solar system, and we need permission for anything beyond Earth orbit. Jake Patterson, the computer expert, found even more troubling parts. They get mining rights to all the planets and moons in our system. We would need to ask them to use our own resources. By the second day, the team had found hundreds of problems. The agreement would give the Council control of most of Earth's factories to build alien technology. Humans would get some new tech in return, but not the important stuff. And Earth would have no real vote in the Council for 300 years. Ellen called a private meeting with just the core team. This isn't a partnership, it's a takeover. Jake had been working nonstop trying to hack into the alien database. He looked up with red eyes. It's worse than that. I found hidden files they didn't mean us to see. These aren't the real terms. He showed them files that revealed the Council's true plans. Earth would become a worker planet, mining resources, and building ships for the more powerful species. Human culture and independence would slowly disappear. Why go through this fake negotiation if they plan to control us anyway? Asked Lisa. They want us to feel like we had a choice, said Alan. Less chance of rebellion that way. On the morning of the third day, the main alien representatives returned to the lunar base. There were 12 of them, each from a different species. They sat across from the humans in a room designed to hold many types of life forms. Chief Negotiator Zixlon's bubble moved forward. Its colors swirled faster, showing what the humans now understood was excitement. Have you reviewed our generous offer? Zixlon asked through the translator. We are prepared to begin formal negotiations. The aliens had a special meaning for negotiations. As the team had discovered, it just meant explaining what humans needed to accept, with minor adjustments possible in unimportant areas. Alan looked at his team. They had been working on a plan all night. It was risky, but they all agreed it was necessary. Yes, we have reviewed your document, Alan said calmly. He placed a small drive on the table. And we have prepared our response. The aliens looked at each other. Several made sounds or movements that seemed confused. This wasn't the normal reaction they expected. A tall, thin alien with 6 arms spoke. You understand this is the standard agreement. All species receive the same terms when joining the Council. We understand what you're offering, said Alan, but we have a different proposal. Zixlon's colors turned dark blue and purple. The translator interpreted this as surprise and concern. Different proposal. There is no different proposal. There is only the standard agreement. Alan smiled. Not anymore. We have created our own terms. He activated the screen on the wall. It showed a document titled Earth Galactic Partnership Treaty. The room became very quiet. Some aliens made strange noises. One that looked like a large insect clicked its mouthparts rapidly. Another leaked a strong smell that made the human's eyes water. Zixlon's bubble expanded and contracted several times before it spoke. This is not how things are done. In 10,000 years, no species has ever rejected the standard agreement. Well, Lisa said with a small smile, humans like to be first. The alien delegation was clearly upset. They had not expected this. They were used to new species being grateful and obedient, eager to join the powerful council. What they didn't understand yet was the humans had never been good at following someone else's rules. Alan stood calmly as he explained the human counteroffer to the aliens. Inside, his heart was racing, but his voice stayed steady. This was the biggest negotiation of his life, of any human's life. Our proposal has 5 main points, he said. First, Earth keeps full control of our solar system. Second, we will share technology, but both sides must benefit equally. Third, we will explore space together, with equal numbers of humans and aliens on each mission. Fourth, no one takes resources from our system without our permission and fair payment. Fifth, we get full voting rights in the Council immediately. The aliens reacted in different ways. Some made loud noises. Others changed colors. The tree-like one dropped several leaves. The floating crystals spun faster. Zixlon's bubble turned a deep, angry red. "This is impossible," Zixlon said. "No new species gets voting rights before proving their worth. No species keeps full control of their resources. The Council decides what is best for all." Lisa stepped forward. "On Earth, we believe everyone should have a voice in decisions that affect them. We call it democracy." The insect-like alien made a sound like laughter. "Democracy? That is for planets, not galactic politics. The strong protect the weak. The old guide the young. This is how it has always been." "Maybe it's time for change," said Alan. "Earth has had many different ways of ruling ourselves. We've learned that sharing power works better than taking it." The aliens called for a break. They moved to another room, talking in loud, angry voices. The human team waited, nervous but proud. Susan looked at the document they had created. "Do you think they'll even consider it?" "They have to," said Jake. "We found something they didn't expect us to find." He showed them his tablet. "According to their own laws, if they reject our counteroffer without discussion, they break Council rules on new contact." When the aliens returned, they looked different. Some seemed angry, others worried. Zixlon's colors had settled into a pattern of orange and green. "Your proposal is unexpected," Zixlon said. "In all Council history, no species has rejected the standard agreement. We are unsure how to proceed." Ellen saw an opening. "Then let's talk about each point one by one. That's how negotiation works on Earth." Zixlon's colors flashed quickly. "You misunderstand. There is no negotiation. There is only acceptance." The room grew tense. Lissa moved her hand closer to her weapon. A new alien stepped forward. This one had not spoken before. It looked almost human, except for its blue skin and 4 eyes. "I am Observer Nix of the Quarians. We are one of the oldest Council species. May I speak freely?" Zixlon's bubble twitched, but it moved aside. "Humans," said Nix, "you must understand what you are doing. The Council has processed over 300 species. All have accepted the standard agreement. All have found their place. Your rejection threatens a system that has worked for 10 million years. If the system is so fragile that asking questions breaks it," said Alan, "maybe it needs to change." Nix's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Interesting perspective. But consider the consequences. The Council controls vast resources and military power. Some members will see your rejection as dangerous. They may propose stronger methods of bringing Earth into compliance. The threat was clear. Accept our terms or face our weapons. Alan looked at Lisa, then at the rest of the team. They had discussed this possibility. Earth was just one planet against hundreds. But they had prepared. "We hope for peaceful relations," Alan said. "But Earth will defend itself if necessary." Zixlon's colors turned dark with anger. "You do not understand the forces you challenge. The Council fleet that waits beyond your Mars carries enough firepower to turn your cities to ash." Alan nodded to Jake, who pressed a button on his tablet. On the large screen, images appeared showing Earth's secret defense system. It was a bluff. The system wasn't fully operational yet, but the aliens didn't know that. "We understand perfectly," said Alan. "The question is, do you?" News of the human rejection spread fast through the galaxy. On the main Council ship orbiting Mars, leaders from many species gathered to discuss this problem. The large meeting room was filled with different life forms, all talking at once. Commander Vril slammed his scaled fist on the table. He was from the Soraks, a lizard-like species known for their military power. This is unacceptable. No species has ever dared to reject our terms. These humans must be taught their place. The ship's captain, a tall being with 6 arms, tried to keep order. Please, Commander, we must handle this carefully. Carefully, Vril hissed. They threatened us with weapons. They showed pictures of defense systems aimed at our ships. Observer Nix from the Quarian delegation spoke softly. The humans are different. In my 10,000 years, I have never seen a species develop so quickly or think so unusually. That is why they are dangerous, said Vril. They are unpredictable. They do not follow normal patterns. Look how quickly they build things. Look how they'd fight among themselves yet unite against outsiders. They must be controlled now, before they spread their ideas. Across the room, others nodded in agreement, but not everyone. Perhaps we should listen to them, said Elder Tez of the Drifts, a cloud-like species that floated near the ceiling. For too long, the Council has done things one way. Maybe it is time for new ideas. This started more shouting. Some species sided with Vril, wanting to force humans to obey. Others agreed with Tez, curious about Earth's different approach. The room divided into groups, arguing loudly. Meanwhile, back on Earth, President Spencer called an emergency meeting. Alan and Lisa had returned from the moon to report what happened. They're divided, Alan explained. Some want to attack us. Others want to talk more. They've never faced this situation before. President Spencer looked at the satellite images showing the alien ships. More had arrived, making a total of 27 large vessels. How long before they decide? She asked. Unknown, said Lisa. But we've detected a lot of movement between their ships. They're having meetings, forming groups, like political parties. We've caused quite a stir, said Alan with a small smile. But can we defend ourselves if they attack? The president asked. General Pete Harris, head of Earth's military, spoke up. The bluff worked for now. They think we have a full defense grid. In truth, we only have 3 working stations. They could overwhelm us easily. Then we need more time, said the president. Alan, go back to the moon. Keep them talking. Lisa, work with the general on our defenses. We need to make our bluff real. Fast. On the lunar base, the aliens requested a new meeting. This time, only 3 representatives came. Zixlon, Observer Nix, and Commander Vril. They did not look happy. The council has reached a decision, Zixlon said, colors swirling rapidly. You have 2 Earth days to accept the standard agreement. After that, we will begin isolation procedures. What does that mean? Alan asked, though he had a good guess. Commander Vril stepped forward, his reptilian face showing teeth. It means no ships in or out of your system, no communications with other worlds. You will be alone until you accept our terms. That sounds like a blockade, said Alan. On Earth, that's considered an act of war. Call it what you wish, said Vril. The decision is made. Observer Nix looked uncomfortable. Not all council members agreed to this. Some of us feel there is much to learn from humans. Those who disagreed have been noted, said Vril with a cold look at Nix. Their opinion is in the minority. As the aliens left, Alan contacted Earth immediately. Mr. President, we have a problem. The council is splitting into factions, and the aggressive one is winning. They're going to blockade Earth in 2 days. On the other end of the line, President Spencer sighed. Then we better have a surprise ready for them. The next morning, a group of scientists gathered in a secret lab deep under the Rocky Mountains. Dr. Nicole Harris stood in front of a large machine that hummed with power. She had dark circles under her eyes from working 3 days without sleep. Is it ready? Asked General Harris, who was also her uncle. As ready as it can be, Nicole said. We've been developing this for years, but we never thought we'd need to use it so soon. The machine was Earth's real defense system. It could bend gravity around the planet, creating invisible walls that would confuse alien ships and weapons. The system wasn't perfect, but it was Earth's best hope. "How many devices do we have?" asked the general. "7," said Nickel. "We need 12 to cover the whole planet, but 7 should be enough to protect our major cities." General Harris nodded and made a call to the president. "The net is ready, Madam President. We can activate on your command." Meanwhile, on the main council ship, Commander Vril prepared his battle group. 5 large warships moved into position, ready to enforce the blockade or attack if ordered. "These humans need to learn respect," Vril told his officers. "Once we isolate them from the rest of the galaxy, they will soon beg to join the council on our terms." Not everyone agreed with this plan. In a small meeting room, Observer Nix spoke with representatives from 12 other species. "This aggressive approach is wrong," said Nix. "Humans offer new ideas that could benefit us all. The council has become too rigid, too focused on control." "I agree," said Elder Tez of the Drifts. "My people joined the council 5,000 years ago. We have always been treated as lesser members. Perhaps humans can help create a more fair system." On the lunar base, Alan received messages from these sympathetic aliens. He was surprised to learn how many council species were unhappy with the current system. "They're using our rejection as a chance to speak out," he told Lisa during a secure call. "We might have more allies than we thought." Lisa was on a military base in Nevada, helping to coordinate Earth's defenses. "We'll need them if Vril attacks. Our gravity system isn't fully ready." The 2-day deadline was almost up. President Spencer called an emergency meeting of world leaders to decide Earth's response. After hours of debate, they reached a decision. Earth would not back down. The president made a call to the lunar base. "Alan, tell the council our answer. We reject their ultimatum. We stand by our proposal for equal partnership." When Alan delivered this message, Zixlon's bubble turned almost black with shock. "This is your final decision. You choose isolation over membership." "We choose partnership over servitude," Alan replied. "And we're not alone. Many of your own members support our position." Zixlon's colors swirled rapidly. "This changes nothing. The blockade will begin tomorrow." As the deadline passed, Commander Vril's ships moved toward Earth, their weapons powered up, ready to shoot down any Earth vessel that tried to leave the atmosphere. Vril stood on his bridge, watching the blue planet on his screen. "Send the first warning shot," he ordered. "Target their old space station. Show them our power." A beam of energy shot from his ship, heading toward the International Space Station. But something strange happened. The beam curved away, missing the station by miles. "What happened?" Vril demanded. "Fire again." 3 more shots were fired. All of them bent away from their targets, as if pushed by invisible hands. Vril's officers looked confused and afraid. On Earth, Nickel Harris watched her screens as the gravity devices worked perfectly. The alien weapons couldn't get through the invisible shield she had created. "It's working," she shouted. The other scientists cheered. In the White House, President Spencer received the news with relief. "Now we can negotiate from a position of strength. They can't just bully us into submission." Elen watched from the moon as Vril's ships tried again and again to demonstrate their power, but failed each time. The humans had revealed their true advantage, and the council was shocked. The failure of Commander Vril's weapons caused an uproar in the council. Emergency meetings were called as species argued about what to do next. No one had expected humans to have technology that could stop their weapons. "How is this possible?" demanded Zixlon, colors flashing with anger. "Their planet shows no signs of advanced gravity control. Our scouts reported nothing like this." Observer Nix spoke calmly. "Perhaps we underestimated them. Humans are known for keeping secrets, even from each other." On his ship, Commander Vril was furious. He paced the bridge, tail swishing angrily behind him. "We need more ships, more power. We will break through their defenses." His second-in-command looked worried. "Sir, should we wait for council approval before?" The council talks while humans laugh at us. Vril snapped. I will not be made a fool. Prepare all ships for a full attack. Meanwhile, Alan received an urgent message from Elder Tez. Commander Vril plans to attack with all his forces. He does not have permission, but several council members support him. You must prepare. Alan immediately contacted Earth. Mr. President, we have intelligence that a major attack is coming. General Harris spoke up. Our gravity net is working, but it has limits. If they hit us with everything at once, some weapons will get through. President Spencer looked grim. Then we need more allies. Alan, contact the council members who seem friendly to us. See if they can help stop this attack. Samantha Green, a skilled diplomat who worked with Alan, had been meeting secretly with representatives from several species. She had a gift for finding common ground between different cultures. Many of the newer council members feel like second-class citizens, she told Alan. The Tellurians joined 50 years ago and still have no voting rights. The Quantum Collective, despite their amazing technology, are treated as curiosities rather than equals. Then we offer them something better, said Alan, a new kind of alliance based on respect rather than control. Samantha nodded. I've already started those discussions. 3 species are ready to openly support us. 7 more are interested but afraid of council punishment. On the lunar base, Alan arranged a meeting with representatives from these potential allies. Security was tight as delegates arrived secretly, avoiding Vril's patrols. The meeting room was tense as Alan addressed the gathered aliens. Thank you for coming despite the risks. Earth faces attack because we asked for equal treatment. But we believe this fight is not just about us. It's about creating a better future for all species. Krill of the Tellurians stood up. He looked like a tall human except for his silver skin and 6 fingers on each hand. My people have waited 50 years for full council rights. We support Earth's vision of true partnership. One by one, other representatives voiced their support. The microscopic Quantum Collective, who use robot bodies to interact with larger species, offered to help improve Earth's defenses. The plant-like Verdans promised to supply healing technology if Earth was attacked. As the meeting concluded, alarm sirens blared. Jake rushed into the room. Vril's fleet is moving. 20 ships in attack formation, heading straight for Earth. Everyone rushed to the command center. On the screens, they watched as the alien ships approached Earth. But then something unexpected happened. 5 ships appeared from behind Earth's moon. Ships not from Vril's fleet. Those are Tellurian vessels, said Krill. My people have decided to stand with humans openly. 3 more ships appeared, sleek and silver. The drifts have joined us as well, said Tez, floating closer to the screen. As Vril's fleet approached Earth, they found not a helpless planet, but a growing alliance of ships from different species. The humans had done what seemed impossible. They had split the mighty Galactic Council and formed their own coalition. On his bridge, Commander Vril received the news with shock. This is treason. These species will be punished. But for the first time, doubt showed in his reptilian eyes. The simple conquest he had planned had become much more complicated. The standoff in Earth's orbit lasted for 3 tense days. Vril's fleet faced the growing number of ships from Earth's new allies. Neither side fired, but neither backed down. On Earth, people watched the sky with worry, knowing powerful aliens were fighting over their fate. On the 4th day, a new ship arrived. It was unlike any other vessel in space. It glowed with soft blue light and was 3 times larger than Vril's command ship. Everyone recognized it immediately. The Arbiter's vessel, whispered Krill of the Tellurians. Zeno has come personally. Zeno was the oldest being in the council. He belonged to the ancients, one of the first species to travel in space. Some said he was over 10,000 years old. His word could overrule any council decision. A message came from Zeno's ship. Commander Vril, return to base immediately. Earth representatives, I request a private meeting. Vril's ships hesitated, then slowly moved away. Even he would not disobey the arbiter. President Spencer, along with Alan and Lisa, traveled to the neutral meeting place on the moon. They were led to a simple room with a large round table. There, waiting for them, was Skino. He looked almost human, but his skin was pale blue and his eyes were pure white with no pupils. He appeared very old, with white hair and a long beard, yet moved with grace. "Thank you for coming," said Skino. His voice was soft, but filled the room. "What you have done is unprecedented. No species has ever rejected the standard agreement. No species has ever formed alliances against council wishes. You have caused quite a disturbance." "We only wanted fair treatment," said President Spencer. Zeno nodded slowly. "I have been watching your species for a long time. You are different from others we have encountered. Most species develop slowly, steadily. Humans jump forward in sudden bursts. You fight among yourselves, then unite against outside threats. You are unpredictable." "Is that why the council wanted to control us?" asked Alan. "Yes," said Zeno. "The council values order above all else. Your potential for chaos frightens them." He stood and walked to a window, looking out at the stars. "I must tell you something important, something few know." He turned back to face them. "The Galactic Council was not created for cooperation, as we claim. It was created for control." The humans exchanged surprised looks. 50,000 years ago, the 5 oldest species faced growing competition from newer, more innovative races. They feared being overtaken, losing their position. So they created the council, with rules ensuring they would always hold power over younger species. "That's wrong," said Lisa. "All voices should be heard." "Many agree with you," said Zeno. "For thousands of years, I have watched new species join the council, only to discover they have no real power. Your rejection has given them courage to speak out." Alan leaned forward. "So what happens now?" "Now we stand at a crossroads," said Zeno. "Your actions have exposed cracks in our system that can no longer be ignored. Many species are questioning traditions we have followed for millennia." "Will there be war?" asked President Spencer. "Perhaps," Zeno admitted. "Commander Vril and others like him will not easily give up power, but I believe change must come. The old system cannot last." "What do you want from us?" asked Alan. "I want you to continue what you have started," said Zeno. "Show us a different way. Create a new kind of alliance based on equality, not control. Many species will join you, even if it means breaking apart the council." Lisa asked. "The council broke itself long ago, when it chose fear over hope." Zeno stood. "I cannot openly support you. My position requires neutrality. But I will ensure Vril and his allies do not attack while these changes unfold." As the humans prepared to leave, Zeno said one last thing. "For 50,000 years, I have watched empires rise and fall. The strongest are not those with the most weapons, but those with the best ideas. Your ideas about freedom and equality are powerful. Use them wisely." 2 weeks after meeting with Zeno, Earth hosted an event unlike any in human history. Representatives from 37 alien species arrived for what became known as the Solar Conference. They met in a massive dome built quickly in the Swiss Alps, with special rooms for each type of life form. Earth had changed in these 2 weeks. People now knew they were not alone in the universe. They watched alien ships in the sky and saw strange visitors on their screens. Some were afraid, but most were excited about this new future. Ellen, Lisa, and Samantha led the human team. They had worked day and night to prepare for this meeting that would shape humanity's place in the galaxy. "Welcome to Earth," said President Spencer as she opened the conference. "We gather here not as rulers and subjects, but as equals with a shared future." For 5 days, the different species talked, argued, and slowly found common ground. The Tellurians shared stories of waiting 50 years for full council rights that never came. The Quantum Collective explained how their advanced ideas were often taken but never credited. The Verdans described how their planets were mined without fair payment. On the sixth day, Alan presented the framework for a new alliance called the Solar Accord. Unlike the Council, this would be based on 5 simple principles: equal voting rights for all members, respect for each species' home system, fair trade of resources and technology, shared defense, and freedom for cultural development. These principles reflect what we believe is best in all of us, Alan said: the desire for freedom, fairness, and peace. Most species quickly agreed to these terms. Some made suggestions to improve them. The humans listened and made changes based on these ideas, showing this truly was a group effort. Meanwhile, the old council was falling apart. 22 species had already left to join the Solar Accord. Others were considering it. Zixlon sent angry messages demanding everyone return, but fewer listened each day. Commander Vril was not ready to give up. On the final day of the conference, his fleet appeared in Earth's sky, 18 warships in attack formation. A message came to all conference members: this rebellion ends now. Return to Council authority or face destruction. The Solar Accord members rushed to their ships. In space above Earth, 2 sides faced each other. Vril had more warships, but the Accord had more allies of different kinds. This is your last warning. Vril broadcast: surrender or we fire. Before anyone could respond, another ship appeared. It was Steno's vessel, moving between the 2 fleets. Commander Vril. Zeno's voice came through all channels. You have no authority for this action. The Council has voted. The conflict ends today. What vote? Demanded Vril. I received no such message. While you prepared for war, others chose peace, said Zeno. The majority of Council species have recognized the Solar Accord as a legitimate alliance. They have also removed you from command. Vril's ships held position for several tense minutes. Then, one by one, they turned and moved away. Back on Earth, cheers filled the conference room as the news spread. The Solar Accord would live in peace. That evening, in a ceremony watched by billions across Earth and beyond, representatives from 37 species signed the historic agreement. Alan stood with Krill of the Tellurians and Elder Tez of the Drifts, watching as each signature was added. I never thought I would see this day, said Krill. My people have dreamed of true equality for generations. All because humans were stubborn enough to say no, added Tez with a sound like gentle laughter. Alan smiled. Sometimes the best negotiation is refusing to negotiate on unfair terms. As the last signature was added, Earth officially became part of something greater, not as a servant, but as an equal. The stars were now open to humanity, and they would explore them standing tall, beside new friends from across the galaxy.